said for design.
Oh, sorry. So for design, my background is in industrial design. I went to college for that at the University of Cincinnati, and I used my industrial design background to find a niche in the toy world. There was a company called Kenner in Cincinnati, and they had co-op programs, so I was able to get working at Kenner in the toy industry on G.I. Joe, and I just kind of fell back in love with it because I loved action figures so much when I was a little child. It just kind of was exciting to get a chance to do that again, and I never looked back. I just found my home here, and all these years later, we get to make all these amazing toys.
And he's become a legend.
And for you, some questions.
Yeah, so for me, I'm a marketer and I'm a global brand manager. When I went to business school at Boston University, and there was an MBA internship program at Hasbro. And so I was an intern for US Games, so Monopoly and things of that nature. And then I was also an intern for Nerf. And then I got selected to get a full-time offer. And when I became a full-time marketer, it was not for Marvel Legends, it was for Baby Alive. And so Baby Alive is very different, but I managed to network and beg the vice president back then, let me be on Marvel Legends and I'll do all the work. And I was just lucky to be able to join.
The Marvel universe is vast and has an extensive roster of characters. How do you decide which character to include in the Marvel Legends line? And are there any unique challenges in designing figures for lesser-known characters?
We always start by looking at the theatrical entertainment slate that Marvel is offering us for the year. And once we know what the big movie or television or animation beats are, we then will look at where are the other holes in the portfolio that we can put in some other fun things from the comics or from the past. And once we do that, we kind of like try to rate the characters of importance. You know, is it a team? Is it a single figure that's important? And once we get all the character lineups that we think is a really strong presentation, we take that information to Disney, Marvel, and review with them, and they come back to us with their points of view. The complexity of the characters varies greatly by the design of the costume. A simple costume like a bodysuit is pretty straightforward, like our Black Widow action figure. Very simple, very straightforward. But something like an Iron Man figure or the warrior Gamora from Disney Plus, who has lots of layers of different types of armor, pose unique engineering challenges that we have to figure out what is the best way to disassemble that figure and reassemble it for a solid toy that will leave a positive, good play experience for the consumer.
Marvel Legends is known for its highly detailed and articulate figures. How do you strike a balance between accuracy to the source material and the playability of the toys?
Design question.
Playability is first paramount. These have to be a good quality toy that's going to last for a long time. That's first and foremost. And then we have to figure out, when we are doing an entire wave, how much deco is required for that wave. And it's not it's not even across the figures. It's more we try to balance it across the wave. Some figures might require more, some figures might require less, and that's okay because that allows us to get to kind of an even keel in the middle, and we can use that to put the deco appropriately where we need to across all figures.
What can you tell us about your collaboration process with Marvel Studios and other entities to ensure authenticity in the design of the figure based on the MCU?
I think it's just a collaborative process. We don't directly communicate with people at Marvel Studios. We have another business team and also a consumer product design team. So for instance, Jesse Falcon is always with us, and he's one of our main points of contact when it comes to us, Hasbro, Jesse, and then you know, Marvel Studios and things of that nature. So it's always a collaborative process.
The Marvel fan community is incredibly diverse, with varying interests and preferences. How do you cater a diverse segment of Marvel fans when creating new figures?
Yeah, that's a big challenge with Marvel because the brand is almost 85 years old, and the ages of the people who buy the products are from small young children to 85-year-old adults. So when you have that much history and lore, we kind of like to look at This case right here, the Avengers, is a great example because you have more modern characters like the Bucky Captain America, as well as like a very classic version of Captain Marvel here. In the Walt Simonson era Thor, in the classic Hawkeye. It's kind of a balance of old and new, and what's coming next is what makes Marvel so great. There's no right way to do it. It's just making sure that every fan has a figure that they can aspire to or want to collect.
Are there any specific Marvel Legends figures that you personally enjoy designing the most? If so, what made them particularly enjoyable and challenging for you?
I think every year we have different challenges. Sometimes it's a character design, sometimes it's a new manufacturing technique that we're trying to incorporate into the line. And the best part is just working with different teammates internally on Marvel, as well as our partner brands, to figure out how to solve those problems. We have Dan and I get to come to these conventions to talk to you guys every year, but the teams are much larger with our engineers, our model shops, our vendors, and partners across the seas that all come together to solve these problems. So the best thing is I don't have to have all the answers. Together we'll all figure it out. But one of the fun challenges for this year was the new Crystar figure we showed. Okay. Because when you have a figure that's mostly translucent, you have to figure out what's the right tint of color that's going to make the product look best, but not show all of that internal mechanism that you don't really want to see, because one of the challenges of a highly articulated figure line is you have all those break points, and every time you make a break you're going to make a color change, and trying to find a balance to make that look really, really cool but still look but still function the way you want to. So Crystar was a good challenge for me this year.
Marvel Legends often include both a figure wave. Can you share any insight into how they decide on the bath and how they enhance the overall collector experience?
Yeah, so I think a lot of questions deal with character selection, right? Yes. And I think the biggest point that we're trying to make is we always try to balance how to please each type of fan. And so when it comes to the Build-A-Figure decision making, we look at the whole entire year and see what parameters we can have, right? Some Build-A-Figures we know are like big characters. We always look for big characters first, I think, and then we try to kind of see what is realistic to the parameters that we have each year. But with any character selection, there's always an iterative process, not just internally, but with Marvel, Disney, and we always joke that it's like a breakdance battle or it's like a fight, because we all each have our own favorites. So it's a really collaborative process that we try to have to do everything.
We have Nerf as one of our brands at Hasbro.
Yeah.
We'll sometimes go into a room with a bunch of Nerf weaponry and just beat on each other, and then the winner gets to select it.
Yeah.
That's not really what happens.
That's not what happens at all.
But that would be a lot more fun.
The Marvel Universe Cinematic has expanded significantly over the years. How do you keep up with the rapid introduction of the characters and appearance in the film to ensure that fans can collect their favorite versions?
So I think the Infinity Saga is like the best way that we've been trying to do it. The Infinity Saga we started in 2021 goes back to some of the key characters that were very important in the MCU, right? And we just teased out this year a couple of more Infinity Saga MCU characters. So, that's one program. We have multiple Disney Plus programs in the year as well to hopefully touch on some MCU characters as well. You wanted to say something else?
No, I mean, it's a wonderful challenge to have so much stuff, to have so much quality entertainment coming to us for us to look through.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun to have those challenges.
Collectors and fans often anticipate exclusive or special edition Marvel Legends release. Can you tell us about the thought process behind these unique offerings?
Okay, can you say that question?
Sorry, collectors and fans often anticipate exclusive and special edition Marvel Legends release. Can you tell us about the thought process behind these unique offerings?
The special editions and things of that nature.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. We work with the accounts, all of the different, and they usually come to us with some perspective on what they're looking for, and then we take the account feedback, and then we look at the slate of entertainment and what we have the abilities to create, and we come with a half dozen or so ideas, and we share those ideas with the internal teams, with our Marvel partners, and with the accounts to see which ones they think is the most compelling. And when we kind of come up with those items, we then look at them in the entire portfolio versus mainline offerings and what accounts get what, to make sure that there's a good balance of characters and offerings for everybody to have something special.
Yeah, certain retailers like Hasbro Pulse, right, which is like our own, those exclusive programs, sometimes we can have more fun with, right, because we kind of know exactly what their point of view is. But each retailer is kind of different too, so it's really important to have a collaborative process with them.
And my last question, can you provide any hints or tips about upcoming Marvel Legends figures or web that fans can bring forward to?
Can you say that one more time?
Can you provide any hints or teases about upcoming Marvel Legends figures or webs that fans can look forward to?
Oh, okay.
We have a couple sneak peeks in there today. At the end of the panel, we showed 4 things that are coming, but we're not saying where. We have Crystar, the Crystal Warrior. Nice. We have Power Princess, which will complete the Squadron Supreme. We have Justice and Vision. So those are 4 big characters that are going to be coming in the future. And we've been talking about, I've been talking about, even though they probably don't want me talking about, we love how well this program, the fall program this year is, but we think next year's big fall program is going to be even more epic and amazing. So we think we got some awesome new characters and maybe vehicles and things to come in the near future.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
it was a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.